Welcome to Alasquatch, the show all about Bigfoot in the great state of Alaska. I'm your host, Beans Baxter. So lace up your boots, zip up your coat, and come with me on an adventure as we explore all things cryptid in the last frontier. Hey Alasquatchers, thanks for tuning in. Got a little bit different show today than I initially planned on. I was initially going to do today's show on a remote property I'd visited recently. I'd been invited out by a property owner to take a look at an area that had been experiencing a lot of activity, and went out there, spent a few days, and got to meet some cool people and hear some cool stories and check out a really cool area and explore around. And I find myself today with a different agenda. Something else has came up and I feel like I need to address it. And that would be recently, but before I left to go investigate that property, I had a gentleman reach out to me and ask if I would talk to him about an article he was writing for a newspaper or a news outlet. And I said, yeah, sure. And I thought that it was probably about my recent book that had come out, Abandoned, and History and Horror of Port Chatham. And it's doing pretty well, and I thought probably he wanted to talk about that. So I talked to this gentleman on the phone for a little while, and I'm not going to mention any names here. I'm not even going to mention the name of the article, but it's making the rounds. It's being posted in places. So I thought that I would just get out in front of things here. So I'm talking to this guy, and we're talking about Port Chatham and the Hairy Man and all that. And I'm telling him about how I had went there twice. Once with Steven for the In Search of the Port Chatham Hairy Man documentary. And again for the Travel Channel show, The Alaska Triangle. And we talked about that for a little bit. And I mentioned, I said, we were the first ones into Port Chatham to do Bigfoot research. Other people had said they'd done it, but we were the first. And we actually, took the time to go there. Steven spent the money to get us there. And we really, I felt like we really accomplished something because we were the first ones on the ground. And I had mentioned how another show had claimed to have gone to Port Chatham, but they did not. And that was pretty much, the gist of the conversation. I mentioned my book a little bit and some of the information I'd found, and he was telling me about some of the information he had discovered. And that was it. We parted ways, and I felt good about it. Well, a couple of days later, I'm coming back from the abandoned property, or not the abandoned property, but the remote property where I was investigating. And obviously, we were out far enough to where we didn't have any type of cell reception or internet connection. And on the way back, I got a bunch of texts and emails and messages, and that article was among the messages I received. So I started reading through it, and I didn't get a chance to really digest it, but I just kind of skimmed through it, and I didn't see my name mentioned or the name of the book or anything like that mentioned. And I thought, well, I'll check it out later. So, I get home, I'm cleaning my gear and unpacking and moving stuff around, and I had to get up early the next day because I had an appointment I had to get to. And I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't sleep, and I was like, well, I'm going to read that article. I'm going to read it all the way through. So I start reading it, and I read this line. And it says, "This reminded me of one of the many ridiculous reality shows on the subject. This one in particular aired on the Travel Channel about the Hairy Man of Port Chatham. In reality, one of the stars of the show informed me they had never actually visited the area, opting for a shoot just off the road system, staging wood knocks and tree breaks for dramatic effect. Sorry to say the show never made it to season 2. So I read that, and obviously I was a little concerned because I thought, well, that's obviously not the conversation we had, but who else is he talking about? Maybe he talked to one of the people that was on that other show. So I continued reading through the article, and I saw no other mentions of me or my book or anything like that, and I thought he has to be talking about me. He has to be. So I'm laying there in the middle of the night at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just fuming because that is not at all what our conversation entailed. So I text this guy at 2 o'clock in the fucking morning. I text him, and I said, "Look, that's not right. Okay, I was talking about another show that is pretending to go to Port Chatham. We actually went to Port Chatham." I said the other show was on another network, and our show was on the Travel Channel. And he replies, "Yeah, it was called the Alaska Triangle, and I can get that edited." So this guy, okay, he's still not getting it. So finally, I literally broke it down to him like I would a child. I broke it down Barney style. And I'm like, that's literally the opposite of what I'm telling you. I said the Alaska Triangle equals good and on the Travel Channel, and the other show equals lying and on the other network. So he texts me back and he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry. You know, it was 2 o'clock in the morning. I've sent a message to my editor. He's changed it, you know, to the other network. And I went back and looked at my notes, and you're right, blah, blah, blah." So, okay, you know, no harm, no foul, whatever. You know, that I can't believe I had to tell him 3 freaking times before he got it. So I'm sitting here today, minding my own business, and I get a text from one of the co-stars of the Alaska Triangle that I was on with. And he sends me a link to the article, and he says, "Have you seen this crap?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah." So I click on it, the link he sends me. Sure enough, no change. Still says Travel Channel, still says ridiculous reality show, all that. So I feel I have to get on here and clear the air about this. So I don't know how this... I don't know how this mistake slipped through. I obviously, I've tried to correct the man twice and told him the correct information initially. So this makes 3 times I've tried to tell this dude, you know, what's really going on, and it's not happening. It's not being corrected. So, I mean, I guess all I can do is say, you know, I don't know what's up with that, but we really went to Port Chatham. We didn't park on the side of the road and fucking film. Obviously, you can tell I'm angry because I'm swearing more than usual. But yeah, I just don't understand. And I sent him a follow-up text. I just sent him a text earlier, basically saying like, "Look, I don't know what's going on, but you know, you need this still isn't corrected." And I realized to him this is just a stupid article that he's trying to cash in on the popularity of that Sasquatch show that's on Hulu. You know, I get it. It's not a big deal to him, but it's a big deal to us and the people associated with that show because we put in a lot of work and a lot of effort, and we're really proud of it. And I don't like being accused of, you know, doing something dishonestly. And I've always said, you know, if I say I'm going to do something or I do something, I'm going to do it. And if I can, I'm going to be honest about it. Or if I don't do it, I'm going to be honest about it. I think there's too much dishonesty in the Bigfoot community. So I've always, you know, said I wanted to be honest about it. And that's one of the reasons why I haven't tried to monetize the show yet, the podcast here, because I haven't really figured out a way where I can do it and feel like I can keep the show honest. Because I don't want to be pressured to make content and put out stuff that I don't think is true. So anyway, I mean, I wanted to get ahead of that. I wanted to put that out there. The guy's going around and he's posting it to basically every Bigfoot Facebook group he can find and every Bigfoot forum he can find. So, I mean, it's getting out there, and I'm sure people are going to think that it infers the Alaska Triangle, because apparently he obviously did, even though I frickin' told him like 3 times it wasn't. But anyway, I wanted to put it out there and let you guys know that that's not the show he's referring to. We went to Port Chatham twice. Steven's been 3 times. So anyway, I just wanted to put that out there and let you guys know. Because I know in the Bigfoot community, once you get accused of hoaxing or being dishonest, it's really, really hard to get that trust back. And I don't want that to happen. I've actually worked really hard to to get where I am in the Bigfoot community. You guys know I'm making a lot of rounds. I'm doing like a virtual press tour for my book, and I'm feeling pretty good about the book. People are really enjoying it. It's doing well. And that being said, the article the guy wrote, there's a lot of information in there on Port Chatham and a lot of stuff that I didn't even know and I didn't come across in my research. But at the same time, after me having to tell this dude 3 freaking times the same information, it makes me question the veracity of the entire article. I don't know what I can believe and what I can't. So I'm not posting it, I'm not promoting it, I'm just ignoring it. And I think it should probably just go away because I question the dude's journalism skills. And you'd think after 15 years of being in law enforcement, I would know not to talk to the media, but I did anyway. And sure enough, it come back to bite me. I remember after I'd been on the job for about 3 months, initially we had a homicide. And we had done a press release through the Alaska State Troopers press officer. And I remember it was a day or two after the homicide, we got a phone call from a reporter from the largest newspaper in Alaska. She was giving the dispatcher a hard time trying to get information, and the dispatcher, was flustered. And they handed the phone to me, and they're like, "Will you please talk to this lady?" And I took the phone, and she was very nice, but she was pressing for information. And I said, I told her all I said was, you've got to talk to the troopers. They're handling the press release on this. They're, the liaison for us with the press. And she said, well, I did talk to the press officer, and, I feel like he just didn't want to step on your guys' toes. And I was just wondering if there's some more information you could tell me or give me some more information, because he didn't really give me much. And it just kind of hit me while I was talking to her. I'm like, this is just like in the movies. This is just like the movies you see where the reporter's like trying really hard to get the scoop. And, I realized as I'm talking to that lady, I'm like, she doesn't care about me or my job one bit. Like, I could sit here and spill my guts to her, and I'll probably get in trouble, if not fired. And she's going to write her article. She's going to get her scoop, and it doesn't matter how that affects me or my life and my family whatsoever. So that was my first introduction to the press as a police officer. And I guess I should just hold on to that, because it sounds like not a lot has changed since then. Not even in my new career, I guess. So anyway, guys, all I'm telling you is just be careful, okay? They're not looking out for you like they used to. All right. So whenever you read something in the mainstream media or see something in the mainstream news, just be careful, all right? And actually, I'm not even done. I've got another story in the same vein. That's one of the saving graces about this, is I realize that it's not just me. It happens to everybody else too. I mentioned that Sasquatch show that's on Hulu. And when I saw when I heard about it, I was pretty excited about it. I watched the trailer, and it just really, I kind of thought, man, I said, this is going to have about 10 to 15 minutes of legit Bigfoot stuff in it. And the rest of it's going to be true crime stuff. It's going to have nothing to do with Bigfoot. And I didn't watch it. It premiered actually while we were out of town. And I get back in town, I start reading reviews of it, and I called it pretty much 100%. That's basically what everybody's saying about it. But I did not realize there were so many Bigfoot people in it. And one of the first posts I saw about it was from Bobo, James Bobo Fay from Finding Bigfoot. I'm going to read his post here in its entirety. And it kind of made me smile, because obviously I'm kind of going through the same thing right now. So I guess I can take heart that it happens to people much more famous than I. So here's Bobo's tweet, or I'm sorry, his post on Facebook about the Sasquatch show on Hulu. Well, that was a bunch of grade A bullshit. Watched the Hulu documentary Sasquatched, and I can't believe, actually it's easy to believe, they butchered my interview to suit their storyline. I was given examples of stories and rumors that I heard but debunked. They edited it as if it was what I believed. The body in Wetchpeck being pulled apart. I told them I heard that story for years, but it turned out to be BS. When I said Bigfoots just see a slab of meat walking in the woods was another thing I was telling them that my first Bigfoot mentor told me, but which I found out through personal experiences to not be true. When I said that Bigfoots are definitely responsible for dozens of missing people, I clarified that was over decades and that it was the smallest percentage of Bigfoots that did that sort of thing. One prominent theme through the movie was that it's hard to keep all the different murders straight. The story of the grower killing the three Mexes, I think he means Mexicans, for taking advantage of his daughter happened, but that was a different incident altogether. Most murders out there are never reported. The bodies get buried out there and no authorities are notified. But just like Murder Mountain, Netflix a couple of years ago, it's really a story about meth and alcohol more than it is about marijuana. So that was from Bobo. Apparently they butchered his interview and edited it to make it suit their needs. And I guess all I can do is just say, yeah, I feel you, Bobo. I guess it happens to the best of us. And I don't know what to do, man. I've reached out and contacted the guy again, told him the article's not corrected, and I'm starting to get complaints. But I haven't heard anything yet, and I don't really care to. I'm done with it. I'm not going to talk to the press anymore, at least not newspaper press. And it seems like that it just things get twisted way too much. Anyway, guys, that's a kind of a bummer of an episode. I wish I had something a little happier to to end it on. I did watch the finale of Falcon and the Winter Soldier today. I thought it was excellent. Really enjoyed it. And be looking for me on Nightcaller's Bigfoot Radio this Sunday, November 25th. I'm sorry, April 25th. And I'm going to be on there talking to Lauren about Port Chatham and Bigfoot in Alaska. And check out my book, Abandoned, The History and Horror of Port Chatham. I can't guarantee that there's no mistakes in the book, but I can promise you that everything that I wrote in there is what was told to me. I can't speak to its veracity, but that's what I was told. So I guess I got that going for me. Jesus. What else? I was going to say something else. Oh, yeah. Our documentary, Bigfoot Encounters in the Pacific Northwest, finally made it over to Amazon. Somehow or another, they were able to finagle things to where it was accepted, and it's on there. I believe it's available for rent or purchase. And you can go over there and take a look at it. It's actually pretty good, and I've heard some good things about it. I had a great time filming it, even though I got a little creeped out. If you want to know what I'm talking about, you got to watch it. So anyway, guys, be good out there, and remember, take care, and don't believe everything you read.